Yeah, yeah, yeah. Show me some. Show me some. Show me some.
Today, Macho.
Show me some.
He's getting so serious. Every episode he gets more serious about his good day, Matum. Good
You're
day,
supposed
sir.
to say, good day, sir. Should we,
There's
sir?
no way. There's no way I could do it as good as you. Not
I
even.
think you can. I think you can if you tried. I'm digging your jam today. You got that don't suck at sales gear on. And speaking of, haven't you been working on that?
Yes.
The don't suck at sales website.
Hopefully by the time this episode's out, it's really gonna have the link for people to get their stuff.
Should we plug that? I think we should.
Totally.
And go
Let's
get
do
our
it.
gear, y'all. Just go get it. Would they go on the don'tsuckatsales.com website?
Yep.
I think they should. I think you should. The first person to buy a hat, we're going to give you a hug. First person to buy a shirt, we're going to give you a bigger hug. Although I think we sold a bunch of stuff, sold a bunch of stuff. So.
I actually had an agent on my team win a hat and he wants us to sign it. So I don't know how we're going to figure that out since you're in Illinois and I'm in Florida, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it done.
You can ship it to me. We got to, or if you bought a black one, we're going to have to do a white marker with it.
Yeah.
But today, madam. All right. So here's the thing, right? Like we've always said this, like, man, it's APV for show, but issue rate for dough, right? But seriously though, it's like, it's crazy. You buy a lead, you grind it out to get them on the phone. You do all the things right to get them to show up. Then you do all of the things right to get them to purchase the policy. We submit it to the carrier and they come back with a big fat thumbs down. Right? Like, it's like, dang it. We could have just simply done a few things to ensure that we're doing the absolute best job to grab and gather all of their health information to make sure that we can get them approved. And oddly enough, if you look at like some newer agents that come in, they might have like a lower issue rate, Miranda, or net placement rate of like 60%, right? That means that 4 out of 10 families we're dropping the ball on. And we don't want to drop the ball, do we, Miranda?
No balls being dropped over here.
No,
I remember my first month, I wrote like 58 grand and I can't remember, but I don't remember how much issued, but I remember Rob and Ryan calling me and like, do you know what issue rate is? And I was like, I thought I just had to write the apps. I didn't know I had to like help them get processed after. It was an expensive lesson.
You're at like 7. If you don't know what that means, that's not good. It's 7%. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
The only reason we could have this podcast is Don't Suck at Sales is because that was us, like, or right. Me at least.
Yeah, no, trust me, I had my challenges with it too. I just got really good at like closing people, and like again, you just the issue rate was just an afterthought. But it's just so important to see this all the way through, and just make sure that we're getting these families protected, y'all. So let's do that, Miranda. I kind of want to do it. I want to do it on the phones, but I also want to do it when it comes to just meeting with families as well, and just some of the best tips and tricks that we can kind of use throughout this process to make sure that we're doing everything in our power humanly possible to ensure that we're getting this policy across the finish line. So Miranda, when it comes to the phones, because that's always where we start, and ladies first, that's where it always starts. So it's like, let's talk about that, lady. Where do you bring it up? What exactly are you talking about? And how do you feel like best that you can kind of grab that information from them, really only knowing them for just a handful of minutes, right?
Yeah. So one thing that is important to know, number one, is if they're a smoker or not, their height and weight, which I know we don't want to kind of lead with that because that I like to put that towards the end because that's kind of an uncomfortable question sometimes. So But most importantly, John, we need to know like medications and we need to know health problems, right? So I like starting with something along the lines of, listen, John, are we looking for coverage for just you or any other family members? You wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised at how many people are looking for not just them, and it's like multiple applications, right? But another one is that's an easy question is like, have you used any nicotine or tobacco in the last 12 months? And here's the thing, there's a follow-up question. So listen, if they say no, it's like, wow, well, you aren't planning on starting anytime soon, are you? And if they say yes, it's like, well, are there any plans you might quit anytime soon? And if they say whatever, it's like, how about I give you some extra points for being honest? And I like doing that because if we can get one laugh in the appointment setting script, typically they're going to book. If we get another laugh, they're going to show up. So that's like an easy one right there.
Yeah. And again, too, like I always like alluding to like if they say, oh, yeah, I want to look at it for myself and my wife. Okay, cool. And I'll go through the progression that Miranda went through and I'll be like, all right, hey, I don't know if she can hear us or not right now, but we're going to go over her height and weight. And I'd rather you guess a little under than guess over. Does that make sense? Right. And so again, just kind of cracking a joke because I don't want you to get in trouble. So what do you think her height is? Oh, she's 5'3". All right. Now remember, be careful. Right? And so just kind of leading in with the height and weight,
Funny.
again, making jokes.
So when it comes to health problems, I want to know as much as I can without getting too overboard and like in the weeds here, because I want to have the best possible chance of showing up to the appointment with something that they could qualify for. So I'll ask things like, have you had anything major like cancer, heart, stroke, anything like that in the past? And I'll say ever, like that's a big deal. Like if they've ever had that, that could be a problem depending on their age, right?
Mhm.
John, are you taking medications for anything? Typically on the medication, again, check with your upline, but I like to say medications for anything as of active now. Once I'm in the client presentation, I'll get in the weeds on that. I want the information, but again, I don't want to go so freaking overboard that I'm gonna like talk myself out of meeting with them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think that that's really important. Again, I didn't know really what you did when on the phones versus, in the home. I know in the home, definitely. Or I keep saying in the home. We haven't gone in the home in years. It's just an old habit of saying it. But whenever we're meeting with the family, I think you have to go in the weeds when you're meeting with them, when you're doing the actual client presentation. But on the phones, I do agree with what she's saying. Is like you don't want to go too far down that path. You want to definitely just get a good gauge of kind of where they're at with everything. And then we'll ask how long they've been taking it. We'll definitely go quite a bit deeper when we're meeting with them for the actual presentation.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I'll ask a little bit, like, are there anything more minor, like high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, anxiety, depression, anything like that? Like, and if I'll casually say, hey, when were you diagnosed? Like, I will get into a little bit of that, John, but again, like, I'm saving the full court press for the client presentation. And lastly, I do ask about felonies and driving record on the phone. I do that. Hey, because the thing is, that's like a secret little thing that if you don't find that out early, that could be a complete deal breaker by the time we go to like do the client presentation. I want to know that now. And that could be a joke, but sometimes you don't want to joke too much because if the answer is yes, it can be a little weird, but
Right.
But I
Just want to
definitely
make
added
sure that
that
you're
in.
not like really crooked. Like you're not like a felon, are you? Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
We're
Right.
not
Yeah.
going to see. I didn't see you on America's Most Wanted recently today, so.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically it on the phone. So don't be shy. You got to dig in. It's just going to help, and this again, in this digital world, we got to go into those appointments prepared because the attention span's less than when we used to do them face to face majority. So.
But and then not only that too, right? And it's just like it's so important that you do it because you're going to be walking into that presentation. And if you don't do it again on the presentation, and then you get to the application, they've already agreed to it. And then now we find out that they have a felony, or now that we find out that they had a DUI 6 months ago, or not, like Now, all of a sudden, we were able to get them $250,000 or full mortgage amount or whatever. And then now we have to peel this all the way back down to, equity protection, or we have to peel it back down to critical period. And it's like, when you have to pivot that hard and that low, and they're already sold on something else, how likely are they going to justify spending a lot more money for a lot less coverage? They're going to say, what? Screw it. This isn't. So it is so important that we do this up front. And I'm even going to like kind of talk a little bit about that too. So, all right. So Miranda, I know that we've already talked a lot about your health, but this is just a part where I want to dig in much deeper. Okay. Here's the thing. They already know. A lot of people just have this like perception that like, because they're not coming to your home and doing blood work, that they don't have access to your medical records. That's false. They have access to it. Why do you think that they would insure someone for $500,000, Do you think that they're going to insure someone for that kind of money without knowing exactly what the hell's going on with them?
No, they don't know the risk.
Would you put $1 million on the line without knowing every single thing? Like if you're doing a business investment, would you put $1 million out there if you didn't know the P&L, how it was going to perform, the people that are getting involved in it, the type of business people that they are, what their history was like, what kind of accolades they had in the past, their idea? Like you wouldn't put up $1 million for the hell of it. The insurance company isn't going to either. So here's the one thing I really want you to understand, Miranda. The more information that you tell me, the better the price I can get you. And Miranda, I want you to treat me like your attorney, not the judge and the jury and the conviction, like convictor or whatever you want to call it. But I want you to treat me like your attorney. The more information I know, the more I can help you, the better the price I can get you. So we're going to go down this path again. Miranda, I even want to know about over-the-counter stuff that you're taking. I want you to throw everything at me. Anything that has been put in your body, anything that you were told to put in your body that you don't, I need to know it all because they already know. They already know. Okay. Does that make sense, Miranda? Mm-hmm. All right. So can I ask just one promise for you right now as we go through this? Sure. That you promise to tell me everything.
Deal.
Okay. All right. So Miranda, here's what we're going to go through first. Height and weight. Let's kind of talk about that. How tall are you? You're 5 feet, 6 inches. All right. And then Miranda, how much do you weigh roughly? Doesn't have to be exact. I'm not asking you to go jump on a scale. Just give me your best guesstimate. Okay. You weigh 122 pounds. Okay. Perfect. So then Miranda, you a tobacco user? I know you said no originally, but remember, they already know. No, you're not. Okay, perfect. All right. And so again, I'm just going to keep kind of alluding to that idea that they already know. They already know because of everything that I kind of set up front. Would you do anything kind of different with that? And again, I'm going to go through the progression. I'm going to talk about cancer. I'm going to talk about heart attacks. I'm going to talk about strokes. I'm going to talk about the felonies. I'm going to talk about the DUIs, the driving record. I'm going to talk about, and then I'm even going to ask them, hey, were you ever prescribed anything at all? And you just decided not to take it. Or maybe you were prescribed something, it made you feel a little dizzy and you figured this medication is making me feel worse. I'm not taking it. And I didn't even tell my doctor about it. Do you have any of those circumstances or situations or scenario? This is an area that you cannot be shy about, that you can't shy away from. And that like, even if like subconsciously, you know, something's not right, like don't just move past it, really dig in and don't be afraid of it. And like, or maybe because you don't know, you don't want to address it, don't worry about that. You can go back to the agent guide. You can really dig in deep and you can start typing in medications. You can search up Google and what people are taking certain things for. And then you can reach out to your upline and ask them live right there while you're on the presentation. Or you can even go and message like American Amicable live right there in their chat bot or whatever. So there's just so many areas that we do not want to mess up with this particular thing because then we won't be able to get them through the finish line. Here's what I also found too, Miranda. is that when you're doing this, you come across more like a professional, right? And that's kind of the crazy thing is that, and then when they feel comfortable really giving you all of this information, that also tells you that they're really serious about getting this type of protection too.
And if you find out things that you didn't know, it's okay to reschedule them for 30 minutes from now. Say, listen, I got to do some more digging. You told me a whole bunch. Let me give you a shout back in about 30 minutes. I'm going to shop around for you. They appreciate that. If you can get them while you can, but like there's so many times, John, and they said, thank you for doing that for me. You know, but like, it's so important. Do not offer them the stuff that you had ready to go if you've now discovered all these new things. And there's one question, John, that I add in there about parents. I say, how old are your parents both still alive? If not, how old were they when they passed away and why? Because that is asked on a lot of the applications now. And it's also going to tell us how long they live, like their family history, right? Do they live to 100 or do they pass away pretty early? Like that's going to help us find them the right plan. Yeah. So I love it. Good job.
You want better issue rate. Do what we just talked about, y'all. Do it. Do it. It'll help you. Thank you guys so much for listening. We truly appreciate all of the comments and all the love and all the outpouring that you guys are giving us. If you want to contact us individually, if you have certain questions for us about this particular episode, or if you have questions about anything, any ideas, tips, or tricks that you want to share with us, please click the link below. You'll have a direct access link to Miranda and a direct access link to myself.
Yep, keep the ideas coming, guys, because anything that we can do to help you not suck at sales, well, that's our mission. So it's a wrap.
I go for that gusto, losing ain't an option. Check a bag and make deposits and deposits and deposits. You see me shining.